Hi, welcome to BeFX Studios in our MatPlus tutorial series. Today we'll take a look on how to create some more complex materials so we can take our projects to the next level. Have you ever wondered how to add subsurface scattering to your skin materials, emissions, or make glass objects? For this we need to check our channels. And as a little extra, we will leave you the time-lapse video of the texturing of this character in the end of the video. Remember that we have a full tutorial on how to texture an organic creature in our channel, so if you want an in-depth guide step by step, go check that video series. Okay, so to simplify the process, I just went ahead and created this really simple setup for our Cézanne's head model. And this looks pretty cool, but let's say that I want to take it to the next level. Let's say, for example, that I want to add some subsurface scattering happening on the model, probably some emission coming out of the eyes, and let's say that I want to turn this base into a glass material to make it more interesting. For this, I will actually need to add some extra channels, because if you notice, the channels that we have by default to work with are color, metal, roughness, normal, and height, and these type of effects will actually need some different ones. So to make it possible, we will need to head to the settings tab up here, and down here we will find the add channel option. So let's click on the plus icon, and this window will pop up. Here we'll find a bunch of different channels that we can add to our project. In this case, as I'm in the head and I want to work with subsurface scattering and emission, the ones that I will enable are subsurface weight, subsurface scale, and emission. Let's just click OK, and now let's move to the vase and do the same. Click on the plus icon, and as I want to turn this vase into a glass material, the one that I will need to add is actually transmission. So let's click on this one to enable it and click OK. And just like this, if we head back to the layers tab, we will see that our new channel it's already on the list, and we will be able to enable this one. So let's just go ahead and set our transmission all the way up to 1, and this will be for our glass for now. We will come back later. Now let's move to the head. If we take a look into our channels list, you will see that our emission, subsurface weight, and subsurface scale are now available for us to work with. The first thing that I want to create, it's actually our subsurface scattering effect for our skin. So let's go and add a new layer, and I'm gonna define a bright red for it. Something around there. It's okay. So let's call this layer SSS. Add a black mask, and the next thing will be adding an intelligent mask, which will be our thickness, right? So we will have this effect, and we can call this one a fake subsurface scattering. We can of course go into our mask view and tweak it a little bit. Okay, this looks pretty good, but as I said, it's a fake subsurface scattering. I need this one to interact with the light physically. For this, I'll actually take the opacity of the color just a little lower, because I like this reddish tone on the character to indicate that there is more like kind of blood concentration on these parts of the character. But the real thing that I want to achieve is by using the subsurface weight and subsurface scale. So I will enable both of them. I won't tweak them just yet because I want to show you something before, and for this we will have to head back to the settings tab, and we will notice that for emission and subsurface we will have some options here to work with, and this is important. Let's talk about the methods of the subsurface scattering. So by default you will notice that we have this random walk method. And this one, it's actually pretty good for most cases. But let's take a look on what options do we have and what they do and what are the best use scenarios for each one. So let's start by Christensen-Burley. Christensen-Burley is the fastest of the methods, and if you put your mouse cursor up here, you will see a brief description of what it does, but I will tell you a little more. This, it's pretty good when you're short of time and you need something really quick but not too physically accurate. So this perfectly works with some type of plastics, simple works, and stylized characters. Nothing too complex, or nothing when you're aiming for a lot of realism. Next on the list, we have random walk, and as I said, you will find a brief description here of what it does. But to summarize, this one, it's physically accurate and it will be useful for most case scenarios. It's pretty good. It will take a little longer to calculate, but the results that you will get will approach more to reality. And the next one, it's random walk skin. The difference is that this one, it's optimized for skin specifically. Okay, so the other one will be better to simulate other type of objects, like for example wax, realistic wax, plastics, and stuff like that. But if you're gonna work with skin and you wanna achieve a realistic result, let's just always choose the random walk skin, because this will be the right method. You can also tweak some of these values down here, but as this one, it's designed specifically for working with skin, I will just leave them as they are. Up here, we will also find some options for emission, but we will cover them just in a second. So for now, let's go back to our layers tab and let's work on our emissive. So for this, I'll add a new layer and I will define a bright blue color for it, something like this. Let's add a black mask and let me call this one emissive. Boom. Now let's add a new paint effect and I'll set it to be 1K. Let's click on OK. And for this one, I will want to enable my paint bucket or fill brush and also this faces option. Now let's go into our edit mode and make sure that faces or number 2 is selected. And let's click on L to select our seams. Okay, make sure that seams is selected here. And I'll select these 2 circles in the middle of the eyes. Now I'll go out of the edit mode and just click in this one. Let's go back to the object mode. And the next thing that I want to do is actually come back here to check my channels and enable our emissive. So we will have this emission now and we have this black bar. If I click here, I will have access to this slider, okay, that goes from black to white, setting the intensity of the emission. Okay, so pretty good, pretty simple, but let's say that I want something that is brighter than this. The way to tweak these is going back to our settings tab, and down here on the emission properties, we'll find this strength value, and by default it's set to be 1, and I can change it to, for example, 10, okay? So if I go back to layers, I will be able to tweak it again and find a brighter result. We can also change a little bit the hue of the emission, but I will just keep it on white for now. Okay, cool, but right now we're not seeing much. Like, for example, the vase looks pretty cool, but I mean, this is not glass, or we're not seeing any subsurface scattering or a real emission coming from the eyes. But the cool thing about MatPlus being inside a Blender is that here in the same environment, we can create some lights and test our materials and channels in real time. So for this, let's actually move to our cycles rendering engine. And just by doing this, we'll actually start getting some different results, like for example a realistic glass material to our base where we can perfectly see the model through the base. But the next thing that we want to do actually to be able to appreciate, for example, the emission that is coming out of the eyes, will be to come here and disable the scene world. And just like this, you will be able to see that the emission is coming out of the eyes. And as I said, you can tweak it from here and you can turn it off and you can turn it all the way up and you will have that emission. If you want something even brighter, then you just come to the settings stuff and start playing with the strength of it. But for now, I will just leave it this way. Now, to be able to visualize the subsurface scattering, the first thing will be to tweak the settings here on the subsurface weight and subsurface scale. But first, let's just go ahead and add a light. And just by adding this light to the scene, we will be able to visualize the effect of the subsurface weight and scale. So let's bring up these sliders like this and start playing with the subsurface scale. And just like this, we'll start seeing our model being affected by the subsurface scattering effect. And this is pretty cool because if I take this light and I move it around, we will be able to check in real time what is happening to the model and how the subsurface scattering is actually working. And the last thing that I want to show you is how to tweak a little bit this glass behavior. Some of the things that we can change here is, for example, the roughness or the metalness, because it will change how our glass will behave. So if I set the metalness higher, it will give me a different result on the glass. Let's set it all the way down to 0. The other thing is just tweaking the roughness. If I make it rougher, we'll get a different type of glass, and this is pretty cool. We will be able to play with different type of glass and results for our projects. For now, I'll just leave it all the way down here because I like a really glossy glass for this example. So as you can see, this is pretty simple, but it will also allow you to take your projects to the next level, adding some more complex materials. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial, learn a lot, and start applying these tips and tricks to your projects to take them to the next level. Now we will leave you with the time-lapse video of the cyborg org texturing process. And keep in mind that the tricks that I show you with the Susan head model are exactly the same that I used with the cyborg org texturing to get the same effects: glass, emission, and subsurface scattering. As always, remember to leave us a comment, like this video, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.